So Andrew Tate is a streamer who was fairly quickly banned from most social media apps because of his insane misogyny. It was an interesting case because I think he exploded. He was really popular on TikTok, was
Yeah,
all over the place, and then he was really quickly banned once people realized he said, women should not leave the home. They're a man's property. They shouldn't be able to drive because they're so bad at it, which, is basically based on his own personal experience and uh, blamed rape victims, said that they had responsibility for what happened to them. I mean, said that, like, if a woman cheats on you, you should assault them. There was a machete involved. Like, it's as extreme as it gets. But he
weird
was really
stuff.
popular.
And per Nikki McCann Ramirez at Rolling Stone, in videos posted online, Tate says he moved to Romania partially due to the relatively lax law enforcement around sexual assault and continued to run his businesses from there.
I mean,
there was like a raid with regards to like some sort of thing going on over there too. So like, in April this year, Tate's home in Romania, this is from the Daily Beast, was raided in connection with a human trafficking investigation following reports of an American woman being abducted. In a YouTube video, Tate said 40% of the reason he moved to the Eastern European country was because Romanian police were less likely to pursue sexual assault allegations.
So he's incredibly explicit about it.
Really pulling no punches.
And yeah, who he is he was a kickboxer that went on Big Brother.
Yeah.
That's where this initial sort of kernel of publicity came from.
But he presented himself as a self-help guru, and they're particularly in male self-help, and also with, like, I don't know, some of these martial arts influencers post their career. Andrew Tate isn't included in this. Joe Rogan, others as well, who traffic in performing traditional masculinity. They develop that audience and then they feed them reactionary content. This is a budding industry, and luckily, I am grateful that this psycho was deplatformed on most social media apps, but at the same time, he's still getting his message out there, and I'm sure he'll just have it a bit more tailored for really far right wingers on other platforms.
Incels,
right? And so here he is, though, speaking out after he got kicked off of a bunch of these platforms in an interview, talking about more misogynistic nonsense.
People say, well, don't have Tate as a real male role model. There's better ones. Where are they? There are no other male role models. Because to inspire the youth of men.
Oh, I guess pause it for a second. Like, I guess this isn't an interview, so this is just his content now, right?
Yeah, so because he was banned from literally every like major social media platform, I think he just like recorded this video and put it on a website or something. Like, this is just him basically, giving his rebuttal to his being deplatformed.
It is that literally anybody else is the answer to your question, Andrew Tate. Literally almost anybody else would be a better male role model when you're asking this question.
I mean, first of all,
like Hassan, who bodied you in your Twitch debate with him, that would be somebody off the top of my head.
Or like a famous athlete or something. Who is Andrew? Like, I'm sorry, I don't know who this Andrew Tate guy is, but apart from a bunch of like teenage reactionary little boys. Post his shit all over TikTok all the time. Like this, like I mean, LeBron. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade.
Yes,
in terms
literally.
of being a father, I think that's a much better role model. Like there are a lot of them.
Who else is such a maniacal question?
Yeah, some like brain damaged kickboxer who was on Big Brother, another show that like I don't who people watch that still.
Yeah,
I think we can find others, Andrew. Like I think we'll just be just fine.
There's actually quite literally billions of other men in the world who would be more suited for the role model position than you. But like, here you go. Just rampant narcissism. Let's continue.
People say, Well, don't have Tate as a real male role model. There's better ones. Where are they? There are no other male role models. Because to inspire the youth of men, you need to be aspirational. They have to look at you and want to be like you.
Zero other
and there's no
aspirational
other
people.
male role models that have had the tenacity or the aggressiveness to have such a fantastic life as I have, that they're going to listen to me. They listen to me because of my authority, and my authority comes from my life experience.
Oh, this is going to crash.
If my mentality is so long, how have I managed to amass enormous wealth? How have I managed to amass huge social status? How have I managed to physically dominate?
Oh my God.
I've done things that men respect.
The B-roll.
So that's why I can lead them. And I understand my messaging should change in light of the fact that I can be taken out of context. But me being alive on the internet will allow me to lead men in a very positive direction. Banning me and deleting me leaves a black hole where they say there'll be another masculine leader. But the men don't listen. The youth of today won't listen to anybody else. That's the reason I'm the most famous man on the planet, because none of these other people have the authority to affect them like I do. It's me or nobody. And
I would love, like, you know, whenever Andrew Tate departs from this earth, someone needs to study that guy's brain for scientific purposes.
The most, what do you say, the most famous man in the world? Dude,
this guy's like Louis the 14th. Like, he's like, he's like, I am the sun. Like, the world does not move unless I do.
Like, let's check in 5 years, Andrew. Like, I don't think it's gonna. I mean, okay. So I also want to play this. So this is the first time I heard of Andrew Tate. He got ambushed. I think I'm not sure exactly the full circumstances of how Hassan got into debate with him. And by the way, that's muted, Bradley. This is a debate he had where, just to set this up a little bit, they're talking about women drivers. And Andrew Tate is convinced that women are bad drivers because he's apparently like been in accidents with women. I'll also say those women were in accidents with Andrew Tate. So I don't know, maybe it's not women, but the Andrew Tate that's a bad driver. And who knows about this? But Hassan is making a point about about biases and data versus sort of anecdotal sort of information that might be sort of biased and maybe a misogynistic way, for instance. And I mean, I'll just say, like, I'm not impressed by Andrew Tate. I think he's a dime a dozen, like, intellectually, and I think this sort of exchange shows it here.
You could just really quickly, like, the B-roll that he showed in that proof that he was the ultimate masculine messiah. It's like every guy in Miami that wants to get Insta famous. I mean, he's no more interesting or famous than the contestants on The Bachelor, and there's like 25 of them this season. That they think that if they can rent a Lamborghini from down the road and take a photo shoot in it, and because they've had sex a few times, that means that he's the only person who can lead men. Man,
right?
A lot of people get that criteria, buddy.
He's an influencer. Like, he's literally a glorified influencer. Like,
and he's just Jordan Peterson, but that he's decided that he's going to groom himself to look the part of the masculine person that he wants to aspire to.
Well, he's male chauvinist Tai Lopez. I don't know if you guys remember Tai Lopez, but Tai Lopez is this guy who used to do all these like sort of grind set videos, which is like, you need to read, you know, how I'm driving this Lamborghini because I read 7 books a day. And
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like the reactionary. It's not too far to get to reactionary politics from self-help male influencers. It's
exactly, which is why. I mean, Tate's been pictured with Jordan Peterson's daughter. So
it's not society that's alienated you. It's not, you know, the fact that that capitalism has completely sapped people's meaning for life. It is the fact that you don't grind enough, and it's an individualistic moral failing if you don't do it and you don't get the girls that you should. Like, so yeah, incel influencer types, but I want to see, because honestly, Matt, you've mentioned this clip to me a few times, and now we get to actually experience it, which I'm very excited about.
I mean, this whole thing's funny. It's from Hasanabi Productions. Hasanabi debates Andrew Tate and makes him cry. Here's this.
And just to be clear for the 2 young lads there, they are literally like his mods and handlers, basically. The 2 guys up top on the screen.
Yeah, so I get representation of his fan base.
That is not how you can conduct an appropriate debate.
Good. So now you're saying the thing I just said. I have my own biases, my personal experiences, and I say them. Some people disagree and some people agree, and I don't care. You now come along.
But you're still wrong, though, because I'm not operating on biases when I talk about women driving. I'm talking about the empirical evidence. I might have personally thought women are worse at driving than men as well. But once you arrive at, once you look at the evidence and you realize that said evidence suggests something else, you're probably not going to continue to believe.
I know that it's about to get really funny, but I feel like it's super common knowledge that, particularly for young men, maybe it's because they haven't watched enough Andrew Tate and they've been led astray, but particularly for young men, there's a reason that insurance rates are higher for young male drivers versus young female drivers. And that's because they get into accidents more frequently and statistical. Oh, right. That too.
I sure it's not wokeness.
Yeah, Emma, hey, Emma, wait, sorry, but I feel like you got to listen to the guy. He has been in more accidents with women.
You're right. Honestly, I'm an emotional woman and it's probably clouding my judgment. So
this is a little hysterical.
Perhaps I have my period and I'm not remembering the statistics accurately, but I should be fair and listen to his analysis.
You've overlooked that Geico. They say it's just because men are worse drivers, but actually it's a privilege tax. So.
Gotcha.
The prior thing that you believed, right?
We went over the same point like 5 times, and I think we're just.
I know, but it's just weird because I can't I can't break through Andrew's.
I understand your point. You're saying that even if I thought
we're losing the girl.
No, exactly. I want to talk to her. He's saying even if I thought women were worse drivers, I've seen empirical evidence, and I'm so smart that I ignore my own eyes and ears and believe what the internet tells me. That's what he's coming along.
That's not what I'm asking you to do, my friend.
I'm sure you're double vaccinated. It all makes sense to me now. You believe what you're told to believe. You don't believe your own eyes. You don't believe your own ears. And that's what you're going to sit here and talk about empirical evidence that you found on Google. Cool. If you believe everything that's on Google, that is your prerogative, my friend. And if you think that makes you sound smart in the modern world after the 3 years you've just been through, to say that I read a piece of paper that tells me to believe X, so I believe X, and I ignore my own personal experiences. And you think
I'm not asking you to ignore your own personal experiences. I'm simply asking you to look at the data.
So let's change the subject because you've just proven your point.
Okay. Andrew, do you believe? Well, I didn't. You didn't really prove anything, but it's cool. Do you believe the Earth is flat, or do you believe the Earth is spherical?
So at this point,
dang.
While Bradley deals with that ad, at this point, Andrew Tate has removed his headphones and is smoking a cigar.
He's just, I'm not listening to you anymore. And here, let me put this phallic object in my mouth.
I mean, talk about psychological coping. Maybe we can have Dr. Jordan Peterson say well, actually, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar and doesn't denote anything.
Do you believe the Earth is flat, or do you believe the Earth is spherical, round?
You can skip ahead a little bit, maybe, Brad.
2 years.
Aldi has his headphones on.
Yeah, he took his headphones off?
He gets very stressed sometimes, and
Yeah, it's cool. It's important. You know, sometimes you can't take the heat. Sometimes you can't take the heat, so you gotta get out of the kitchen a little bit. Andrew, do you believe the Earth is flat or round, spherical, globe?
Round.
You believe it's round, right? But when you walk outside, it feels like it's flat.
Brother, and I
it looks flat, it feels flat, but you believe it's round. Why do you believe the Earth is round?
Because I have personal experience that would prove to me that the Earth.
Oh, you have personal experience. What happened? Did you go up to the fucking moon? Is that how you figured it out?
Exactly. I flew up into space and I looked down on Earth and I saw a big circle.
That's crazy. Okay, you don't have to. Hey, listen, you don't have to concede on that point, but I think you and I both understand the importance of scientific, the importance of empirical evidence in that one, right? Or
all our fun.
Science.
I saw him there, and I thought, wow, this guy, okay, he's gonna ruin the stream. We had a hot chick. Now you're here.
Is that what you thought?
Just chill out.
It's so what's up? Is it a little bit more difficult when I'm not the traditional SJW looking person? Is that why it feels like the stream is a little bit more ruined?
No, it's not difficult. As a professional, I'll tell you the conversation we just had.
Yeah, dude, you've been kicked in the face and stuff. I'm sure you can handle little old me.
Exactly. So I'll tell you as a professional the conversation we just had. I said I am biased and I don't believe women can drive. That's my personal experience. I don't care if anyone agrees. You came along and said, don't interrupt me. You came along and said, no, that's not true because of the evidence. I came and said, I don't care about the evidence, my personal experience. You said, I also have personal experiences and we're all biased. I agreed. Then you said, even if I had personal experiences that said X, I would ignore them because the internet told me to believe Y. I believe what I'm told.
That's not what I said. I said that regardless of my own personal biases that I might have, evidence is still more important than my personal biases.
When you guys are both talking at once, you can't hear anything.
And you've lost, and it's boring. So let's just move on from the subject.
Is that what happens? You just say I'm boring and I lost, and then you win. Is that what it is?
Do a poll on the chat. And if you want, then we'll continue to talk it. But I'm sure you've lost, and it's boring.
Okay.
And it's
do you want me to leave the conversation that desperately?
Pause it for a sec. Yeah, well, I guess we're good there. I guess he wants, the thing is that Andrew Tate wants a poll in the chat because he could use some empirical scientific evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is that his personal experience or is that someone else's personal experience?
I personally, I love his transatlantic accent there, right? Like, he's also British.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it's
You've made it boring.
You made it boring.
The girl's gone now.
The girl's gone. The pretty lady's gone.
You're boring. I mean, bro, get therapy, Andrew Tate. Get therapy for your car accidents, bro.
Honestly,
therapy.
Every day that dude wakes up and he has like a sort of, like the what was it, the Grover meme of the Vietnam War flashback.
Yeah, exactly.
He thinks about every car accident that he's ever been in.
Yeah, he sees a woman driving a GMC Envoy, and it's like at the beginning of like Born on the 4th of July when the firecracks are going off.
This is also it's amazing to watch these clips back to back where he's like, there will be no space for any male role models once I'm deplatformed. I'm the most famous person in the world, and it'll be like a black hole. When he's literally in a Foursquare like Twitch debate with Hassan, with his like backup rear guard being like, no offense, like just two literal like scrawny 14-year-olds in their rooms.
Yeah,
who are double fisting energy drinks. Like,
yeah,
this is the reach and the sprawl that he sees for himself as being the most like heralded male mentor in the world.